I talk to multiple agency owners every single day that are ambitious and driven to scale their agency. And after working with over 200 agencies over the last couple of years and scaling ours to over $200,000 per month in multiple seven figures, I've come up with 5 reasons that are holding agencies back from scaling their agency. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 5 of the most common reasons that you may not be growing your agency and scaling to a point of you actually being a true CEO inside of your agency. And guys, stay till the end because the 5th one has been the most impactful in my journey, in my agency journey. This was me in like 2018 when I was first starting my agency. I was freelancing. I was doing a lot of like content, doing like emails, pretty much doing whatever the client wanted me to do for them because I was working to scale this thing. And I knew if I would not say yes to everything that everybody that I knew would like wanted, then I had fear of missing out on revenue and fear of them going to somebody else. So at this time, guys, I was feeling like super just like burnt out from the agency space because like I was doing everything. It was like me subcontracting some stuff out. Everything was like a mess. I was just kind of like ad hoc. Like, although I'm smiling, look at that hair in that photo. Wow. Like, I was just not present because I was so focused on like business and just like scaling and growing and all that sort of stuff, which is not how I wanted to build this business. I didn't want to design it to like run me. I wanted to figure out, okay, how do I get this thing to scale beyond myself so that I can actually have some time freedom and actually become an agency CEO, not just have a job. So fast forward a couple years later in 2020 is when I made that decision, and kind of the turning point was me hiring a mentor. He taught me a lot of the foundations of what I'm going to teach you, and we worked together for like 3 or 4 years, and it was probably the most life-changing experience for me because he taught me what it was like to actually build a business. And as a result of that, we were able to scale to a decently large team. Like, this is us at like our team meeting inside of our studio. This is our Christmas dinner, which was like a lot of fun. This is us inside of our office at a team meeting, and also like scaling to a good amount of revenue. I mean, we would get like $52,000 pay in full invoices. I think this was, I don't know, maybe 2022, 1.7 million in sales for the year. So it was a business, and like I was pretty removed from it because I've implemented some of the systems I'm going to teach you today in order to grow there. So this is a little bit about my journey and why what I'm about to share with you could actually work for you if you pay attention to it. First things first, guys, is the reason you're probably not scaling your agency and actually becoming a true CEO is because your offer sucks. When it comes to offer, like what I see a lot of people do is they become like a yes man. They're not clear on their offer, or their offer isn't like positioned appropriately. So when I think about an offer, I think that it's delegatable. It is repeatable, meaning that it's repeatedly going to be able to be fulfilled, and it's not like an operational mess when I do it. It's outcome driven, meaning that it's going to get our clients to a solid outcome every time that we sell this offer, and it is profitable. We need to think about who is our customer, what are their pain points, and what are their outcomes. So let's just say like our customer was roofers. What are their pain points? Their pain points are for sure getting more leads, recruiting, becoming more trusted. With that, all we need to do as agencies is we need to look at pain, and we need to freaking figure out exactly how we can get them to their outcome. And their outcome is going to be the opposite of their pain. You need to be a freaking marketer, not just like a yes man. Our customers have a pain. I just need to figure out how do I get them to the outcome in the best possible way. I need to do everything in my power as an agency to get my clients from the pain to the outcome. When it comes to actually marketing your offer, now you can just say, hey, we help roofers get more leads using the method that we come up with, which is what we'll do real quick. We have to figure out what is the steps that I need to take to get my clients to the outcome. And the more that we can be convinced and convicted that our steps that we've come up with as a marketer are going to get our clients to the desired outcome, then your conviction is going to be high. You can explain it to the customer, and their conviction is going to be high because your conviction is high. We need to figure out, what am I doing here? Am I doing like an onboarding call? Am I doing like a strategy session? Am I building like a landing page? Am I creating some content for them? Am I setting up like a social media funnel? Am I doing this? Like, what are these steps that you just need to simply take to get them to the outcome of what it is that they want? Oftentimes I see a lot of people, they're like, oh, but we could do this, we could do that, we could do. All we need to do is meet our MVP for this specific offer. We need to find something that we can really focus and hone in on. Now, once we have our steps to desired outcome, we need to look at our steps, and we need to think, who could I hire to do this part, the onboarding? Who could I hire to set up the ads funnel? Who could I hire to create some content? Who could I hire to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this? And that becomes looking at our offer as a delegatable offer. offer. And then all we have to do is we need to figure out how much would it cost to delegate this. Maybe you're ripping in your agency right now and you're doing a lot of stuff. I would just audit your offer and look at your steps with your current clients and then figure out exactly what you're doing, the steps to outcome, and then create the steps to outcome, figure out who could fulfill the steps and figure out how much it's going to cost to do it. It's probably going to go in order of priority. Like there's probably a lot of like $5, $10 an hour tasks that you're probably doing inside of your agency that can easily be delegated. So now what we have is this is our offer. I would call this something like our roofer social funnel, our roofer lead gen mechanism, whatever it could be. This is your mechanism of getting the clients from A to Z. And it should be unique, it should be simple, it should be delegatable, it should be profitable, it should be all that sort of stuff. One thing to note just on like the paying people to do it, that's also going to give you your cost of goods sold on how much it costs to actually fulfill this offer, which then you can multiply by a multiple of 3 or 4. That will give you the actual retail cost to the customer. In addition to this will also basically feed the systems that you need to make because you have the steps. You just need to create systems in place for those steps to actually be fulfilled. That is all we need to do from an offer perspective. And guys, if you can nail this, like I've worked with hundreds of agencies. Every time I have this conversation and do this for the agencies, because this is what I do all freaking day with agencies, is they have crazy breakthroughs. Like Mike came to us kind of all over the place, being a yes man, wasn't really clear, to building his offer for him, had a few meetings. We positioned it correctly to be outcome driven to his customers, and he signed a 3-month contract on his highest package of $4,800 per month, in addition to the business that he already had. And this was literally 2 weeks after working with us. The second most common reason why it might not be growing is simply because your systems are doing more harm than good. I see a lot of agencies out there who say they have systems or yeah, I have a process in place, but they're going back and forth with people via like iMessage and Slack. Like their systems are built in like a Google Sheet or like Google Docs. And ultimately when I audit their systems, it's doing more harm than good for their business. We need to realize is that systems run the business and people run the systems. And if we as agencies look at the steps to outcome and systematize those steps to outcome, this makes our life way freaking easy, and it does not need to be a headache inside of your agency every time you get a new client. It should be smooth sailing. We need to have good systems. They should be saving you time, because as you save time, you become more profitable as an agency. We built out like a whole agency operating system that we give agencies inside of agency. We copy and paste. We actually build out their whole systems for them. I want to give you a little bit of nuggets as it pertains to like what systems that you actually should be using inside of your business. So like the first thing is onboarding. So we came up with like an onboarding funnel, which is about 21 steps completely automated. Basically what it is we use Zapier and we use Notion and we use Go High Level to basically automate the whole funnel. So we have a trigger that we call like a sales intake form. And then basically once they fill out the sales intake form, then what we're going to do is we're going to send them the contract. And once they sign the contract, then they're going to be redirected to onboarding form. And then simultaneously, like we're setting them up on our backend system, getting their client directory set up, getting all of the necessary steps set up foundationally so that we can begin to scale, fill out the onboarding form, and then they schedule onboarding call. Completely automated. There's a ton more steps that go into this, but this happens immediately just as they click and as they get stuff done. Next is your fulfillment system. So we built out what's called an agency UOS because what we realize is that people are managing everything on Google Docs or like back and forth, and it's just inefficient and it's a waste of time. And as an agency, a lot of our expense comes from the time that we're taking to do what we're actually selling. And if we can limit that time down from a fulfillment perspective, you're going to save more time and make more money. So we have an agency OS, which basically is a whole operating system that manages the tasks from our strategy call. This is what we're going to plan to execute on. These are all the tasks that are automatically going to be populated based off of the client, based off of the offer, that will then disperse to the team that's actually going to be doing it. And then we as managers can manage the tasks that happen as it pertains to the fulfillment of the offer. Next is the lead gen system. Like if you don't have a system for tracking leads, for receiving leads, for like making sure like you're managing all of your leads in one place, like you're probably not closing a lot of deals, if I'm going to be honest. We built out a lead gen CRM. So we have a CRM inside of the agency OS, which we can manage basically the pipeline status. We can manage where they are in the lead process. I can make notes. I follow up with people because it takes 7 touch points in order for a lead to actually become deal. And then eventually when you scale and grow and build a sales team, how do you have the sales team do that? That's what we need to have, is a lead gen system that we can eventually delegate. So the next system that is paramount is like your sales systems. We use a CRM. Firstly, we'll use Go High Level as our CRM, and we'll also use Notion to manage our calls. And basically what happens is when they book a call, they will have the automated reminders with a very detailed form that they're going to fill out before they do it. They're going to be automatically added to our sales board inside of Notion so that we can actually track the deals, track the leads, track what's coming, see all the calls that are on and in the pipeline, so that we can have a really just a one-stop shop for managing the calls. Purpose of the automated reminders is to pre-sell them. So we're not just being like, oh, your appointment's coming up in 2 hours. No, we're sending them a VSL, we're sending them some case studies, we're reminding them of the appointment, but we're also working in some stuff that's going to pre-sell them and give them some homework to watch. Then what we'll have is inside of the CRM, we'll have a place to track the calls. So inside of Notion, we built out this whole operating system that you can see all of the calls that have been booked. You can open it up and a script will automatically populate for you in your agency. That all you need to do is you just need to follow the script from the sales framework that will increase your likelihood of actually closing a deal. Then we also have the follow-up and nurture system, which is automated from Go High Level, because you want to make sure that you are following up and that shouldn't suck up a lot of your time. You can automate that whole thing, and then you can also track your follow-ups inside of the Notion CRM, which is freaking killer. And the last system that you need is simply a client management system. So again, we will use Notion. What I see a lot of times is like people will not have a place where they house like all of the client's information, contract, the onboarding form, the notes for the meetings, all that sort of stuff. Is paramount that we have this set up in our business. We have that inside of our operating system. We call it like a client directory, which houses everything, the invoices, projects, a bunch of different notes for the client, and so much more. So if you can nail this, you're going to be way more profitable because you're going to save a buttload of time, and you're going to make your team's life way easier and keep your team longer and your clients longer because there's actually a system and it's actually professional. So we did this for Kerrigan, and immediately after I helped him out with his offer, he got a $6,000 a month contract, and we worked to get systems in place so he's not a slave to them. Both a huge win. So we basically just copied this over to him, and he was not a slave to his clients because he actually got systems in place for his business. So next up, you have no predictable way to get clients. A lot of people rely on word of mouth referrals, or they don't really have like a predictable way to get clients. So really there's two different ways to predictably get clients that we teach inside of Agency U. And the first is going to be inbound. And basically what we do is the authority funnel. So essentially what we're doing is we know that we're in the age of the trust area. We're trying to expedite trust getting new clients. We'll have two different ads running. We'll have a follow ad, and then we will have a DM ad. So for the follow ad, basically what we're doing is we're trying to drive ideal customers to our Instagram page to follow us. Let's just go back to the roofer example. If you're a roofer in New Jersey and you're struggling to land new clients and you're spending thousands on direct mail that just doesn't work anymore, you're sending your guys out to inefficiently knock on doors day to day, go ahead and give me a follow here on Instagram where I show roofers just like you how you can add 5 new appointments a day using our roofer social funnel. What happens from that is you start to get ideal followers. Next ad is going to be a DM ad. So similar framework, because I got our positioning down, because we got who we're talking to, what their pain points are. Now what we need to do is we need to have like more of a direct message. So if you're a roofer, here's how to add 5 new appointments every single day. Stop knocking on doors. Instead, do something more modern because that's the way people do it. You need to build trust. Most roofers aren't trusted because they feel like they're getting scammed every time they interact with somebody. You need to build trust by posting on social media. You hit on their pain points, and at the end you say, DM me the word funnel, and I'll send you more information on how we can help you get more clients using our roofer social funnel. So what this is doing is this is going to our IG, and from our IG, we'll start to get a couple of things. We'll start to get followers, and we'll start to get people DMing us. And then what we need to do is we need to set appointments from the DMs, and we need to get the appointments from the direct messages into an appointment for our salesperson or for yourself. Because you're getting all these followers, you're getting all these DMs, all we need to do is set the appointment in Instagram, and what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to check out your Instagram page, make sure you're actually freaking legit, and because you are also posting content, they will see that you're legit, and you'll speak it directly to their pain points. And then from there, you should be able to close a good amount of deals from that. So this should rip like anywhere from $10 to $20 per lead, so you can do the math based off of your success. The next thing that we really hone in on is like the outbound. So we use and love cold email. Like the thing that I love about cold email is simply that it's very scalable and it's not that expensive. Like we're not spending more money in ads to get more clients. Like we just need to get more people to reach out to. So basically the workflow here, all you need to do is you need to find a list. So you can use a software like Polo, you can use a software like instantly.ai, or you can buy a list online, or you can hire a VA and they can build a list for you. Then what we do is we simply go to instantly.ai and we start warming up emails. So each email can send about 50 emails a day. What you don't want to do is you don't want to add your email to it and then start ripping a bunch of emails from there. That's one way to make sure all your emails go in spam. So get 10 domains, which would be able to handle 1,500 emails a day, because 3 emails per domain, that would be the volume of that. And then what you want to do is just simply write copy. And basically from like a copy perspective, like all we really need to do is it needs to be hi first name, personalized close the line, value prop for niche, case study, guarantee, call to action. This is your formula for a solid cold email. And then all we need to do is just launch this bad boy inside of Instantly. And what will happen is all of the emails, so if you have a list of like, let's call it 10,000 people, they're going to go into what's called a unibox. And then inside of the unibox, you just need to set appointments. So I'm not going to go too in depth on the outbound stuff, but generally speaking, like this is a super strong tool to predictably get clients. Like for this, you should expect, I don't know, a 2 to 4% reply rate on your emails. Maybe 30 to 40% of them are going to be positive. And then you can probably set around 30 to 50% of the positive replies, and then you can do the math based off of how many emails that you're sending for your business. A couple people to highlight. So Matt, like he came to us literally doing $10,000 a month, bogged down, doing all the fulfillment himself. And like he's consistently ripping contracts. Like another one, third contract today, $1,800 a month. That's $16,000 in contract value from it. 2 accounts today, total $13,000 combined, ripping it. This is happening very consistently. Just this week, he's already posted like 3 wins from the authority funnel, which I just went over. Susie scheduled 2 calls in the first 2 days of running the authority funnel. She's crushing it right now. Dan, first W of the program, closed 2 current clients on $5,500 PIF, each for the authority funnel. Both opted for a firm. If it worked for them, it can absolutely work for you. Last up is going to be you're not giving up control and you are not delegating. So a lot of people, when they scale, they get this like fear of losing control because they fear somebody's not going to do as good a job as them. The client wants to only work with them. And that is such a big limiting belief that holds so many agencies that I talk to back. What we need to focus on is 2 things, which I'm gonna go over. First is your job. If you want to be the agency who's micromanaging, who's always working, who's bogged down in the day-to-day, that's totally fine if that's what you want. But if you're looking to actually scale your agency, grow it beyond yourself, become a true CEO, have more time freedom so that you can do more things that you enjoy, you need to learn how to delegate. Your job as a business owner is to create expectations for somebody, set expectations based off of your offer, based off of what you need them to do. It is to manage expectations, coach them on those expectations. The last thing is to make sure you are doing everything humanly possible to set up your team member for success. So how the heck do we find people to do that? So we have a super simple talent funnel to find A-player talent that's worked extremely effective for me. First things first is like we'll create like a job description 2.0. We're making sure everything has a KPI attached to it. So we have a role, responsibility, and KPIs. And we're being really freaking clear on what those actual KPIs are. Then what we do is we create an intake form. We're gonna drive everybody who we're posting this job to fill out an intake form. And that will give you some pre-screening questions that will allow them to get to know you. What's your vision for your life? Are you an agency? Why do you want to work here? All that sort of stuff. Then what we do is we post the job. We look at talent acquisition just like we do as client acquisition. We're trying to get this in front of as many people as possible to get the most ideal clients. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go through the people. We're going to go through the intake forms, the people who took the time to fill out the form. We're going to pick the top couple people and we're going to say, hey, send me a Loom video filling out the script. And once they send the Loom video back, then you'll be able to get a feel based off of their character, like what they're about, all that sort of stuff. And then that's when you actually set up the interview. Then once you set up the interview and you like somebody, let's just say you set up 5 interviews and then maybe 3 of them are qualified to move on to the next step. Then you send over test work. This can be a variety of different things depending on the role, but we want to make sure that they actually know what they're doing. And then from there, that's when you can actually make the decision to hire somebody and put them on what's called a 30-day trial. This is you doing everything possible to find the right candidate with the proper expectations and saving you a ton of time to do this. Last point here is you're not a good leader. So one of the highest value skills that I have ever learned is just simply leadership. So one of the people that I look up to and learn a lot from a leadership perspective is Jocko Willink. And one of the things that he always says is there's no bad teams, only bad leaders. And what I interpret when he says this sort of stuff, and when he talks about this in his book, Extreme Ownership and Dichotomy of Leadership, and he talks about all this stuff, is that the only reason that your team is going to suck and you're never going to be able to scale past yourself is not because your team sucks and they're not competent, is because you haven't done everything that you can do to set them up for success. If you can focus on and make your sole purpose as a CEO, as an agency owner, to do everything in your power to be a good leader by setting your team up for success and take extreme ownership of your company's success from you, not your team, that's the reality of the situation. So you as a leader need to invest in your leadership. You will thrive once you are able to humble yourself and realize what true business ownership is and what actually being a CEO is. and it's not what you see on Instagram with flashy cars and all that sort of stuff. That pretty much wraps up the video, the 5 most common reasons why you're not growing. And guys, you saw some wins. I talked a lot about wins, how we work with a lot of agencies. And if you are wanting me to literally copy and paste and build out your whole systems, build your offer for you, or just do an audit on your offer to make sure that it is scalable, delegatable, all that sort of stuff, plug in our client acquisition system inside of your agency, write your copy for you, make sure that it actually is effective, analyze everything, and help you scale from that perspective. And we'll even like set and close appointments for you if you're a fit for that. You want us to plug in our in-house recruiters and help place a team inside of your agency. Go ahead and click the link down below and watch a short video, and you can book a call with my team and you can learn more about how I personally will literally do all that stuff for you. If not, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you got some value out of this, and we will see you on the next one.